Hey guys, Jamiy, and today on Roblox we're playing some more Loomian Legacy, as you can see on the screen right now. In today's video, I actually want to go over some of the nerfs and the buffs, or just the balance changes that we've made to the game in this also latest update. So let's hop into it, Lynn. So I think first off, let's talk about, I guess we'll go for MOOTUNE, just the fact that also when it came out, it was beyond kind of like busted. It could like two-shot basically everything except from like maybe one or two Loomians. So I actually have this one, I can actually show you. So basically the only changes, there's only like a couple of changes really, and that is MOOTUNE stats, which its range attack has been reduced by 20. It used to be 134, now it is 114. And just like not really like make it too bulky or make it too quick, those 20 were just slapped into melee attack, which also it's not really going to use. So that's basically MOOTUNE. And also its ability, it used to deal 20% extra damage for sound-based moves. That has now been nerfed to 10%. So also it's got like a fairly okay nerf. It's still usable. It's just not gonna like two-shot everything. So I think that's a good nerf for MOOTUNE. Other than that, Len, I guess we'll talk about the Trumbull, which stats-wise it hasn't got nerfed. It's mostly just Battlehorn that got nerfed. It used to be 40 energy, and now it is just 60. The reason why is just the fact that it increases your stats and it gets rid of any status ailments on the field. So for example, if Trumbull's burnt, it's kind of meh. You're not really going to want to use it anymore, or it's not really going to do a lot of damage. So also Battlehorn will increase your attack and also get rid of that burn as well. So 40 energy, we're bumping it up to 60. People saying this might be a bit too broken. If it's like too weak now, we could potentially lower it again to like maybe 50 and leave it like in a halfway point. That might be fine, but I think for now, this should be fine. I mean, I can't really see too many people really like Battlehorning constantly. Like maybe one Battlehorn now would be fine, and then also you'd only need to use another one if you need to get rid of the ailments. Whereas before you could basically like almost get two off. So I think that's a pretty good nerf as well. Again, we could potentially like buff it a little bit to like 50 energy, but I think for now that is fine. Next up plan is Swalder. I actually don't think I have a Swalder unless I go to my Gleaming boxes. Okay, yeah, I have a Swalder, nice. I don't have a You're so low. So anyway, for Swalder, also we've had this since the very start of the game, and it's just been like meh. It's been like also in Terrafly Shadow, just the fact that Terrafly is quicker, basically had like the same bulk and could hit basically about the same. So honestly, it was just like basically in Terrafly Shadow, just the fact that as well it doesn't have barbs. So yeah, and also bug, poison, or toxic really isn't that great of a typing. Terrafly only works with it because it's fairly quick and it has barbs, which is nice. And I know people want me to like give this thing stick web, which I want to, I don't. And now in this game, when we like making new moves, for example, Icicle Trap, we change the type also from Rock, mostly because also Rock doesn't exist anymore, into an Ice type. We want to try and like change the typings at the very least. If we're taking stuff from Pokemon or stuff that's similar to Pokemon, we want to change the typing at the very least. So if we do, but also it's like a stick web, we can't really change. That would also stay a bug type. But at the same time, I don't really want to have 3 different trap moves or hazards in the game this early on into the game. So all I'm going to say is maybe in the future Swalder will have something like sticker webs, although like I said, I don't want there to be 3 hazards in the game this early on in the game. So maybe like later down the line it may potentially get it, but also right now it's just not really going to be that really used, although it has like a little bit of a buff. So we're talking about the buffs then. So before, it used to have 70 health, now it has 85, which is very nice. Energy has stayed the same. Actually, apparently on the document, or on the battle changes, I put it down as 68, even though it's 70. I don't know why it's 70. Well, actually, it probably went up because of the because I raised its base stats a little bit, so that's probably why the energy, because on the document that T-Brad's put on, the more base stats you have, the higher your energy for the first few Loomians, so that's probably why I actually got increased, which it wasn't really meant to, but like 2 energy, it should be fine. Next up then is melee, so technically yeah, it did get like a 2 energy buff, which it wasn't really meant to get, but whatever, I mean that's a freebie I guess. Melee attack, what used to be 100, and now is 115, which is nice, it hits harder, and it also, for Balrog's Boast, it can drop it, which is also a nice, I guess, little feat on it. Melee defense used to be 65, and now is 85, and also, for all of this to get changed and a buff, range attack has dropped from 45 to 10, which I think is fine. No one really uses range attacks on it anyway. And also speed and range defense have stayed the same. And then next up plan is, when I scroll all the way up to the top, which actually I don't even have it. I have to go to my Lumipedia because I don't have it on me. Next up is, or I guess the final one is actually Ursol, which is also Fancub's evolution. So this thing used to have 72 health. Now it's 99 base health. Melee attack is still the same at 115. Melee defense used to be 60, now it's 63. Range defense used to be 65, has now been increased to 80, which is also fairly nice. Speed is the same at 75, energy is the same at 89, and then also for the defenses get a buff, the range attack went from 75 and dropped to 30. That's basically all of the changes. The only other really change is also secret ability Shawchai has been fixed. I actually have one. It's just not really good mine that I got, because it's like it's clumsy, which is also horrible for it. But yeah, the ability should now work, hopefully. If you don't know what actually happens, it was programmed in the game, so your moves weren't, Shawchai's moves weren't 100%. So for example, let's say I have a Shawchai on my field and I use Foul Chant. It wouldn't increase the accuracy to 100%, it would still be 70%, but what it would do is the opponent, let's say for example, they use a move that has like 90% accuracy, their move now actually becomes 100% accuracy. So that's what it actually does. It made, so the opponent's moves, if they use them on Shawchai, became 100%, which also would have sucked. It's basically like Pokemon's, I feel like, is it no guards? But basically, it doesn't apply to you, it only applies to your opponent, which also sucks. So that's got fixed now, which is great. But I think for the rest of this video, I'm going to quickly talk about the two new Loomians, obviously. Geklo's evolution, and when I find it, yes, I have caught a full PC box of these things now. And this one sucks, but it's indifferent. I guess I'll talk about this one first. I feel like it's right now. Also, pretty bulky, 95 health, 94 melee defense, and 81 range defense. It's pretty good. I guess it's fairly similar to like Himber in the fact that actually I can actually bring that along and actually scroll up to Himber just to like show you. So also Himber has 124, 115. So this one hasn't got as much melee defenses, but also it's got a little bit higher range defense, and also it hits harder, but I'm pretty sure it's actually slower than it as well. Yeah, it's a little bit slower. So also not as great as Himber, but also the spirit typing, if you want the spirit typing, but Spirit and Ice probably isn't that great, to be honest, but the base stats are alright, I guess, like 69 energy, so it caps off, I believe, at 500 if you count all of these, so I guess like Shawchai, stuff like that. So base stats in total like aren't impressive, but also like I had to lower like the range attack super low to like make sure that I can have at least some decent ones, with also only working with 500 base stats total. So that's the reason why. But I think it has a small niche, so also it has its move Gain Drain, which this is a new move. This isn't a signature one. Other things will get this in the future. For example, Vesperatu makes complete sense to actually get this one. But basically, for example, if the opponent, let's say a Ragoon sharpens in my face, it gets +1 melee attack and +1 accuracy. If I use Gain Drain, I will get 5% health regain or health gain for both of those stats. So I'll get 5% for the accuracy and another 5% health gain for the attack as well. So that means I'll get a 10% health. I get I heal 10% of my own health basically, and I remove their stats. For example, if they have, let's say I used Eerie Stare, for example, I decrease their speed by 1, and I decrease their melee attack by, melee defense by 1. If I then use Gain Drain, I actually lose 10% of my health. So it's like a little bit of a balance thing there. So obviously, you gotta be careful if you're using Terrifying to not really use this move too much, also because you'll lose a little bit of health. But for example, let's say that you sharpened, or let's say they sharpened, they got their melee attack and their accuracy buffed, and you decrease their, and let's think, you decrease their range attack, so they don't conflict with each other. So in that sense, you'll get 5, another 5, so you'll be at 10, and then also you lose 5, so you'll get a 5% health increase on your Icy Ghoul. Up next, I guess, is the ability, Parting Gift. This is the only ability that it has. It hasn't got a secret ability. Basically, when this thing is KO'd, I think it might work with Health Gift. I'm not really too sure. I might want to try it, but basically, it will deal damage to the opponent. So if Icy Ghoul faints, it's kind of like, I guess, an example bit in the doubt on like Pukamuku. But basically, for this thing, if I actually quickly find the rolls or the chances, so basically, once this thing faints, whatever is in front of it, it will hit them with a gift and it'll explode and it'll deal a certain amount of damage. So then, 50% of the time, it'll deal 1/8 max health to the opponent. 20% it'll be 1/16. Another 20% it'll be 1/4. And 10% of the time, it will deal half of their max health. So that's pretty good in my opinion. Like a pretty good, like, I guess, overall buff for it. Like, not, it's that's like being okay, not that great. And also its typing probably isn't that great. If you want an ice type, probably don't want Spirit. Spirit right now is probably one of the weaker types. And also for its last move, pretty sure it's called Impression. Actually, I can just pull it up on my my document right now, actually, just to like guarantee that I'm actually getting this right, because I don't want to get this part wrong, obviously. It's because I don't have it on me as well. I haven't leveled anything up yet. It's called Impersonate. It is a Spirit type move, and this is the signature move of Icy Ghoul. So basically, it impersonates the target. If they are about to use a damaging move, Icy Ghoul will copy that move and use it for that turn. And it's also priority, so it's kind of like, I guess, Me First from Pokemon. So for example, Icy Ghoul, let's say I'm against a, I don't know, let's say a Serenite. They go for Slapdown. I use Impersonate. I now slap down the Serenite before he hits me. Also, if the Serenite goes for Power Focus and I go for Impersonate, the move just fails. So yeah, I'm pretty sure in Pokemon though, I'm not exactly too sure, but apparently it told me that Me First increases your damage a little bit. I'm not really too sure how much if you use Me First. In this game, it doesn't. Also, if Icy Ghoul's signature move, we feel like it's a little bit too, like, not really that strong, we could potentially give it a buff, something like that. But basically, that's Icy Ghoul. So again, I think it's pretty good. I don't think it'll be like used a whole lot. Again, it's Spirit. Spirit isn't really that great. And yeah, also I want to quickly talk about the rally moves. It gets like Health Gift, Energy Gifts, and 2 Chomp moves, which I forgot off the top of my head. I actually can look again though. It gets Health Gift, Energy Gift, Thunder Chomp, and Blaze Chomp, because also it gets Chili Chomp through level up and Mega Chomp through level up. It will eventually get Icicle Trap from Himber as a rally move. That'll be like in a later update, whenever we update the rally moves again. So that'd be nice. And also, I know that some people are thinking, yeah, speed is really, really slow. So like, also like something like Trick Room would be really nice. I will say, definitely, we will be getting something like that will swap, and also the slower Lumens will go first for a few turns. I want to say that Icy Ghoul is probably going to be one of the first Lumens to learn that whenever we get a level cap increase. So definitely watch out for that. It's going to be pretty good. So yeah, I feel like that's pretty good on it. Next upload, this video has probably been a little bit too long now, but oh well. Let's talk about Iguana, or Iguana is one or the other, to be honest. But anyway, the base stats, I think they're alright, to be honest. They were actually a little bit different back in the day when also the game first came out, because we assumed that Iguana, or at least I assumed that Iguana was going to be released in the first update or the release of the game. It wasn't. It's taken us until now, obviously. But basically, it's got like some pretty good defenses. It's got pretty good speed for a tank, obviously, and it's got like a decent range attack. So basically, range defense is exactly like Gastroke's. Also, the health isn't as great as Gastroke's, but the melee defense is a little bit higher than Gastroke's. It actually can take a melee hit. Okay. And like I said, it can outspeed basically all of the little tanks. It's pretty quick on it, and also the range attack isn't too high, but it does get Magnify. Again, this move has actually been in the game since the very start of the game. And Magnify, this also is the first thing to get it. Also, you guys are only just seeing it now, but like I said, I've had this thing planned for the beginning of the game. So Magnify, it's basically like a nasty plot. It will increase your range attack by 2 stages. Also, if you don't know why I keep going back to Pokemon, like using examples from there, it's just because most of you also play Pokemon and you know what like nasty plot does, for example. Whereas Magnify, you've never seen before. It's just easy just to compare it, really. All on that low, so also, Geklo can get Luster and Thunderstrike and Earthquake, but you're probably not going to really use Earthquake. Its melee attack isn't really that great. It's just an option that I thought would be cool on Iguana if you really want to run it, but I wouldn't really recommend it. But also, Luster's pretty good on it. Thunderstrike's pretty good on it. It gets Thunder Crash, which probably isn't really going to be an option. Again, its melee attack's not really going to be that great. But it does get Gamma Pulse on level up, so I feel like a lot of sets might run like Magnify, Luster, Gamma Pulse, Thunderstrike. At least that's what I would probably run. You can also swap out Magnify for Electrise. What was it called again? Pretty sure actually these guys got it. Energize, that's what it does. So this one actually boosts your range attack and range defense by 1 stage if you want it to be like a bulkier set, as some people say that they might run instead. Also, right now, it hasn't really got... It is a tank, and it also doesn't really have that much support moves going for it. Also, that will be a thing in the future. But another option I guess you could potentially run on it, it does get Tase, right? So, I mean, Tase wouldn't exactly be a terrible idea on this thing, since it can actually take a couple hits. So, like, Tase... Like, I would say Luster's probably good on it, but also you could probably like run Tase, Magnify, or Energize, and then run Thunderstrike, and then either Luster or Gamma Pulse if you want to do more damage. So I feel like Loza is a pretty good set as well, but also we'll get more utility moves in the future, just also... We're like kind of limited, we only got like 40 levels right now, so that's the only problem right now. But again, we will get more moves, and also I want to increase some of these moves pulls a little bit. So there's that. But anyway, it's basically all of the new balance changes. I thought I'd just quickly talk about Iguana, and also the new Icicle, just like talk about them for a brief moment. A lot turned into quite a long time, to be honest. I think on most of the video I talked about those two rather than the Nerfs, but oh well, I thought I'd mention them. But anyway, that's the Nerfs. Like I said, Swalder probably won't be that used still, even with the buff. We're just kind of like waiting for more moves on it. It just needs like more utility and potentially like a sticker web move sort of thing. Cinemoth, I can't really still being used that much. I mean, it doesn't really need a buff. I feel like its stats are fine. The only real problem with it is just that its typing is pretty bad. And I mean, it has Gust, yay, but Avatros has Gust, and I feel like Avatros is probably better at using Gust. Plus, you don't even need Gust, and most people don't even run Gust anymore. Your Soul, I can see people potentially run it a little bit more, but again, Spirit types just aren't really that great. But I feel like I'm actually going to run a set which is Sharp Claws, and then just run double priority moves. That will also give me like a nice boost to those damage moves. And again, priority because it's fairly slow, but a little bit more overall bulk doesn't exactly hurt. It might see a little bit more in usage, but I don't really see it being that used. Again, can't really do much more with the stats really once you've evolved it. I haven't evolved it yet, obviously. Other than that, low Shawchie, you can definitely see Shawchie quite a bit now because it's actually fixed and it can deal a lot of damage now. MOOTUNE still going to be seen quite a lot. The nerf isn't going to make it unstoppable, it just makes it a little bit harder and more things can actually take a couple of hits from it, which is nice. That's where it should have been from the start. And also, Chumble, still going to be, it still can be used, obviously. It will also get moves in the future that utilizes Brute Force more, like Mega Chomp, and obviously other than that, it can still use Battle Horn, it's just a little bit harder, so people might opt to only really using it when needed, and then also they get a buff at the same time. So I guess we'll see how exactly that works out. So anyway, I'm going to leave that video off here. I don't know if I'm going to upload this one as my first video today or my second video, but either way, I'm going to do a video talking about all the new rally moves in the game in another video today, so watch out for that if you want to look out for some more rally moves. There's not really that many, but I thought I'd mention them in the video anyway. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time.